All right, everybody. I am here with Ayres Neto. Hey, Ayres, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being on. So, I want to do like a quick introduction of you. So, you're a team leader at Coldwell Banker in Lisbon, Portugal. But I want people to understand and give some context about your team and what you focus on and where you do business. And then I have a special interest in Portugal, so I want to talk about that. So, can you lay out your team and your vision and where you do business?
Yes, for sure. I lived almost 20 years in the US. So when I came to Portugal to work as a realtor here, I started working like normal way, like learning the trade here in Portugal, how things work. And I
Did
noticed
you
that
have your license in the US at all or just Portugal?
no, just Portugal.
Okay.
I work in commercial enterprises in the US. I work for several different companies, but always, commercial activities, but not essentially related to real estate, even though my two best friends in the US are realtors. Okay.
Mhm.
So I came to Portugal and I started working. And because of my background, I started getting clients from all over the globe. And I noticed that, first of all, I was in Lisbon, but I had clients in Porto, Algarve,
Mhm.
Alentejo, different regions of the country. So I need
Right.
people all over the country to help because clients sometimes they come here, they say, "Oh, I'm thinking about going to Lisbon, but I might go to Porto, but I really like Algarve." So it was kind of like all over the place. But Portugal is a tiny country. So in the beginning, I used to drive around like crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
far though, even from
yeah,
Lisbon to Porto is pretty far.
that's 3 hours. So I work like a global luxury, but in Portugal, you always end doing like things 500, 600, 700 sometimes. So the pandemic came and we started doing webinars at my company, called Banker. And I started looking at, American realtors talking, oh, I have my team and my team does this, my team does that. I said, I need to find some way of having a team too, but I don't
Mhm.
want like a regular team. My team needs to be, I need someone that speaks German. I need someone that speaks French. I need someone that speaks Swedish because we get a lot of people from Scandinavia.
I
Uh,
think what a lot of people, if they've never been to Portugal, like it's a beautiful country. It's a very, like, especially Lisbon is very multicultural. And
mhm.
so it's kind of, I mean, it's not like New York, but like how it's set up, but in the way of being like so many different cultures, it is. That's kind of the vibe. Like,
Exactly. And
mhm,
there's something very unique about Portugal. I mean, especially specifically Lisbon, but let's say the whole country. Portugal, there's something called EPI, which is English Proficiency Index.
mhm.
Portugal is 7 in the world, which is really, really high.
That's
Our neighbors here to the east, Spain, are 39th. Okay, so pretty much, if you're in Lisbon or in Porto or Algarve, and you don't speak the language, you don't speak Portuguese, you can get by. So people love that. You love the weather, you love that the language. You can learn
yeah.
Portuguese.
The
In a
water is beautiful. I mean, I stayed there for a month and I don't know Portuguese. I mean, I know like hello and thank you, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I know a tiny bit of Spanish, so a lot of similar words you can like read it. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't difficult to get around
Yeah, my team has 9 agents. Three of my agents don't speak Portuguese. Okay, they
at
understand, but they
all.
don't speak at all. Yeah, I have two Americans on my team actually, and one German British. And they don't speak Portuguese. I mean, they understand a little bit, but they don't because 95% of my clients are international. Okay, even
Mhm.
when we deal with listings, we have a way to work, in our team. And let's say upscale people that have listings that we get, most of them speak English, so it's
Yeah.
it's not really an issue for us. Even though I highly recommend them to learn Portuguese and develop their Portuguese skills, but it's not something that it's really 100% necessary for what we
Well,
do.
and to your point, if you have and I want to get into the golden visa because I think this is really key for like, especially we were talking before, especially with COVID, we all realize that even as realtors, we don't have to live where we work necessarily, and especially people that do other industries. And so, to your point, if you're German, you can own property in Portugal And if your realtor speaks German, like one of your realtors on the team, it is a lot more comforting. You can fully understand what they're saying.
Yes, no
Mhm.
question about that. And not just that, I mean, the weather is a factor. I mean, if let's
Yeah.
say you're a young couple, 30s or something, and you're doing very well, and you work in Oslo, Norway, okay? The
Yeah.
weather is dreadful. I mean, it's snowing, it's cold, and everything. You have kids. The kids are locked in an apartment. They have no place to
Right.
play. Everything's complicated.
Right.
Both work remotely. You don't have to be in an office. I mean,
Right.
Portugal makes a lot of sense. I get clients like that all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, like, and not just that, prices too. I mean, the price of like a 3 bedroom in a prime location in Oslo, London, Paris, or
It's going to be
you
so expensive.
yeah, exactly. In Portugal, you buy a mansion for that price. So it's totally worthwhile for someone to relocate to Portugal. That's the reason we get this big wave of expats coming in.
Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, I did when I was there, I even like the first day I went to like a meetup group and it was, I mean, people spoke English. It was really nice. I met people from all over the world and they live there. I mean, I was just visiting, but people, it's awesome. Tons of expats. But let's talk about this golden visa because it is a way to obtain, you know,
Europe,
you can get a go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, you can get European citizenship in
Hmm.
6 years, and you can get permanent residence too, if that's depending on the goal of the person.
Right.
It's a really cool program
And
because
the purpose is to encourage more people to invest and come to
yeah,
Portugal, right? That was what they're
no,
doing.
no question about it. The
Mhm.
idea is, I think it's a combination of factors that the Portuguese government developed, like a variety of them, to make sure that the economy started growing. When the Golden Visa program was developed, it was right after the crash in the US,
Mhm.
2008. So the program started, the inception of the program, it's 2011. Okay,
Okay.
so it's been about 10 years, and it has brought immense growth to the real estate market. Not just that, I mean, there's other things in parallel that help too. But the Golden Visa is definitely, like something that has worked really well for the country.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing a lot too. I mean, obviously you're a Coldwell Banker, and Coldwell Banker is international. Keller Williams is international. I'm at EXP. We're international now, and
Yeah.
opening in Portugal, which is why I have an interest in Portugal because I've been there and we're opening offices there. But a lot of agents, they maybe don't understand, like if they have a client that is an investor or somebody that is interested in getting a home in Portugal, like how do referrals work?
Basically, how we do it at Coldwell Banker, this is not just for Portugal. I mean, I refer, properties in Italy, in the US a lot.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, France, Spain, Mexico. Basically, it's there's a 25%. It's agreed upon the parties, but the general rule of the thumb is 25%, okay, of
Okay.
the commission, and we honor that obviously. And my partners all over the world honor that, and it's a great way for me. And I'll give an example. I had two properties that I had a client that bought here. He tried to live in Italy for a couple of years. He didn't adapt well to the country, so he had two
Okay.
properties in Italy. Okay, so we put the properties for sale in Italy.
Hmm.
The properties got sold there, fantastic. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got a little commission there. It sold for him here, obviously. And I had the other way around. The same realtor from Italy recommended a buyer to me, and
Nice.
I sold property to him. So it's a win-win situation because
It's just kind of like state to state in the US. It's just going and connecting with people internationally because like the world is getting so much smaller. I think it's important to have these connections with people.
exactly, and Europe is pretty much like the US, speaking
Right.
different languages. I mean, if I get my car right now, it's 4:11 here. At 10 p.m., I'm in Madrid.
Right. Exactly.
Not a big deal at all. It's pretty much going from one state to another. I lived in
Right.
Florida for a while. If I try to go to Atlanta, it's a longer, a longer drive than me going to Madrid or even Barcelona.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, what are your plans for your team?
We've
I know you have big plans.
Yes, we've been doing fantastically well, honestly. when I envisioned, when, pretty much did my business plan, presented that to my bosses. I expected to do well. I had numbers that were very, optimistic,
Mhm.
kind of surpass every possible, prediction that we forecast that we had.
Nice.
Things are going very well. We now expanded to Azores, which has a high interest in the U.S. The U.S. also has a large population of people that come from the Azores, especially in the northeast of the country.
Okay.
So we get those contacts all the time. So now we have a person in Azores. The next person will be in Madeira Islands, which is a very good spot also.
Yeah.
The idea is to grow and eventually have my own Coldwell Banker franchise. That's the mid to long term goal. Because what we do is a very specific market niche, and we're doing very well. And we believe having our own structure, we will at one point be be the next step. Okay, natural step.
Awesome. Well, if people have questions for you, or they have clients that are thinking about Portugal, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can go by email, which is a neto, Neto, at cbluxus. I'll spell that cbluxus.pt. Okay. It's very easy to find me online too. It's just
Yeah.
put my name, which is like Ayres, last name Neto. Just put Coldwell Banker Portugal. I'm gonna find my page, my everything, Instagram, Facebook,
All the things.
all
Yeah.
the things that we have nowadays. So it's not
Awesome.
complicated.
Well, I really appreciate you being on. Thank you so much. And I hope people like have open, I hope this helped them open up like the world. Like real estate is a very small world, and we can, all work together.
Yes, and I'm looking forward that also, to realtors from all over the planet sending me emails and things, because I always have this kind of referral. And it's always good that we do Zoom calls. I do a lot of Zoom calls so we can talk and I can refer people to them. They can refer
Right.
people to me. It's always, I believe in this synergy,
Yeah,
symbiosis in different, when we can help each other progress in our careers.
exactly. I totally agree. Well, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Jennifer. Have a wonderful one. Take care.
Yeah.